Well, here we are back again. I'm back. I guess if you're watching me, that means you have the internet. And if you have the internet, then that means you have heard about Charlie Kirk being murdered. What a gross. I gotta say something. What a gross. Just a gross, sad. What a sad thing, isn't it? I followed Charlie Kirk, not a lot, because I think I'm on the same page as him with a lot of topics. I was always amazed at what kind of a mind he had as a very, very smart man. And he didn't hate anybody. He actually went out to make sure the truth was spread and every single voice was to be heard. Sound familiar? But yesterday we came out of the woods and a friend of mine sent me a message. I didn't have a clue it went down, and all he sent me was the video, and he said, holy shit, this is the video with holy shit. So unfortunately I had to watch that video. Obviously, I'd be lying if I said I didn't choke up. I immediately pictured his wife and children. Such a tragic loss, such a sad loss, such a disgusting move. You know, oops. I'm on a main game trail here down the timber, so gotta prepare to the knot, right? Single shot Ruger number 1 300 Win Mag for those curious. And I've shot a few grizzly bears with that thing. You only need one, but anyway. Yeah. What do you say to that? Imagine if that's the rules. Okay, so that's the rules if that was the motivation, but I don't know you right now. Everything's confusing of the motive and who did it. I read a report from the Utah law there. They said that the gun was found wrapped in a towel. They've got handprints, forearm prints. And they said there was some trans-flavored words engraved on the shells. And right away, as soon as I read that, my mind went to who is trying to steer everyone to that divide. Divide, keyword divide, right? Who and why? And then I went in my inbox and a good friend of mine sent me a message saying, don't get mad at me, but just read. He said, allegedly, he was about to start exposing Israel and the Epstein topic and a bunch of other things, apparently, and he was scared for his life. Apparently Charlie showed concern for his life. And then allegedly, there's a picture of a private jet that left an hour later within the vicinity, the nearest airport. A private jet plane took off an hour after the assassination, and it showed the numbers in the plane, and they illegally had their radar turned off or something. I don't know. Who knows? There's a bunch of mysteries going on there. Who knows what's going to come out as truth. I know there is a long, lengthy list of trans mass shooters this past year. Do I give a shit about the trans movement? I don't give a flying shit. I do not care at all. Go live your life, be happy, do things that make you happy, and don't harm anyone, and don't get in anyone's face and try to push your shit on anyone or control what they say or believe or think. It's too easy. So on that note, I don't care. I don't care what you do with your time. Just don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt anybody. Contribute in a positive way to society and don't hurt anyone. Other than that, I don't give a flying shit what you do or what you think you are. I don't care. I'll tell you what. If somebody wanted to continue divide, this move was pretty good. And then you got to think who would want to create and continue this divide that's going on in not only the United States but Canada as well, and most Western themed countries, right? Everybody's divided. Everybody's angry. Everybody's angry right now. Everybody's angry at each other. Everybody wants blood. And then you think too, you know, there was apparently a petition was signed with over 1,000 signatures trying to prevent Charlie Kirk from going to the Utah campus to speak. Think about it. All 1,000 plus of those signatures, those people are all not contributing to society or freedom at all. They are all contributing to trying to stop someone from speaking. Isn't that amazing? Especially in the countries we live in today, that people try to stop people from speaking. Unbelievable. That hits a soft chord, hits a chord with me, because that's been a lot of my motivation to do what I do here. How many people tried to stop me from speaking? How many people tried to stop Bobby Short from speaking? How many people tried to stop Melva Ketchum from speaking? Right? As examples. People, you know, closer to home with us, people trying to stop people from speaking. Not going to stop me. That's the only way you're going to stop me is if you did to me what you did to Charlie Kirk. And there's no comparison at all, me and Charlie Kirk, in any way, ever. That man was a superb human being. Superb family man, Christian, and went out of his way to make sure everybody was heard and have safe debate. Anyway, I'm babbling, I'm rambling. Anyway, I wouldn't jump to conclusions myself right now. My gut is screaming. As soon as I read that report from the police department in Utah, or whoever it was, the FBI, read the report where they said they had the shells were engraved with pro-trans movement words. You know what? If that was the case, the gun would have been laid out right there on the roof for everyone to find with a bunch of shells laid out. Here you go, here's my message. No. My gut is screaming that is a set up. And furthermore, could you imagine what it would do right now with that move? What that would do to the trans community today if it was proven that an extremist, psychopath, trans person was responsible for pulling that trigger. I can guarantee you that would probably make it open season on trans people all over the frickin' country, wouldn't it not? Right? Don't you think? Am I promoting it? No, I'm just saying what likely would happen. Ugh. I was so sickened yesterday. It was so gross. So sad. His poor family. And then to have that video, I knew right away that was a real video, and there's no way he was surviving that. I'm familiar with rifles and what they do. But his children are going to see that video eventually. His wife's probably seen it. What a sad, sad, disgusting scene. It's too bad. Very sad. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, right? The world's lost one of the good guys. You know, there's people out there celebrating it. There's some twisted people. How do so many people get so twisted up? I don't get it. I just don't understand how people got so many people became so messed up between the ears. It's just so frustrating. Whew. Anyway, there you go. My little vent in the middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere, northern BC. In the real world. Safe, for the most part, from a lot of the garbage going on. Anyway. Maybe I'll get some, you know what? I'm going to get some voices heard. That's what I can do today. Continue to do. Get people heard, no matter what, right? Now, if you want to hear an update of what's going on our end, it's very, very hot, dry conditions here in the north, which typically makes hunting much more difficult. Animals are active mainly at night in the dark, and as soon as that sun comes up, they ditch. And for an elk hunter, you want the elk to bugle, to call, to scream out, which they do in the rut, and they're just not doing it. So what I have to resort to doing to try to be successful is we've been getting up at 3:30 in the morning. I get up at 3:30, get the coffee going, and I let Sarah to sleep in until 4, and then we wake up and go. And I have to be in the woods at least an hour before seeing light. Poor Sarah, she told me flat out this morning she was scared. But she normally is scared of the dark. She's good, she's safe. But listen to this. Was it yesterday morning? We went to a place. It's about a 20-minute ride by pickup, and I got a trailer with a quad on it. Then we drove on the quad for about 45 minutes in the dark. Bright sky, dark, but moonlight. Dead silent, no wind, real quiet. And then what we do is we sit there and we have coffee and we listen for an hour, listening to hopefully hear a male elk let out a bugle on his own without me calling at all. And it did happen. But listen to this. So we're sitting there, and my back is to the south, which is the moon behind me. Sarah's sitting on the quad facing me. We're just sitting there having a coffee, and all of a sudden, crack. And a tree fell down. But across the way is behind us. It's a logged off area, patch of timber just like this. And a large tree fell over. Crack! On the ground, probably 400 yards away from us. I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's interesting, whatever. But then about 10 minutes later, Sarah went, whoa! She's facing me. She went just like this, whoa! I go, what? She goes, I just saw a bright light. It's a bright green light. I'm like, what? Where? Behind your head. But this big, a bright green light just went down to the ground. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking she meant right behind my head, which was making me a little alarmed. And then she says, no, it's back there by those trees. Back there by those trees. I'm like, yeah, be kidding me. She's like, I'm not making it up. I just saw it. And she goes, my heart's racing. So she described it as a green light about the size of the moon, the same size as the moon was up in the sky right there. And I thought she meant it came down out of the sky over by the moon and that star. She says, no, it came down over by those trees. So, let me get in the shade of this tree. So, if anybody out there seen that, she said it went so fast it was like a tail, like a green. Whew. So, it appeared out of nowhere in the sky and went straight down to the earth. And it was bright green, about the size of a volleyball. I'm guessing. Has anybody seen that? If you have, email me. Or throw it down in the comment section of this video, please. I'd like to hear about it, alright? Yeah. And no, I haven't found the bolt to my rifle. We went and looked, and I'm going to have to probably go drive a couple hours to the next town over and buy a metal detector and search for it before I go home. So that's why I've got I pulled this gun out for myself. It's a Ruger #1 single shot in 300 Winchester Magnum. I've shot some big grizzly bears over the years with this rifle. So, all you concerned? Yeah, it works for the grizzlies. If that 1 in a million ever happens. Now, all right. There we go. Let's get some voices heard, shall we? Couple anyway. This email is titled, Southern Oregon Experiences. Hey there, Steve. I found your channel How to Hunt after getting my butt completely kicked during blacktail season about 5 years ago. I was at the end of my rope and typed in to YouTube verbatim, how to hunt. I was worried I'd forgotten. I found your channel and there's some good blacktail info on there, so thank you for that. You're too welcome. Then it evolved into the Sasquatch/cryptid emails and topic. Coincidentally, I have a couple of stories myself, and multiple friends and relatives have relayed info of their experiences to me. It's funny the influence and trust you gain just having an open ear and mind about this world and a curiosity of what we are doing here. Just give me 1 second. I got to get out of the sunshine, all right? I'm going to go find some shade. Hold on a minute. This thing doesn't break. Excuse me. Okay, you guys know the drill. If you see a grizzly behind me, let me know. Just kidding. Think straight? I don't think it's straight, is it? Hold on a minute, you guys. Good enough. Where was I? My story. It was about 2019. I just picked up a bow for the first time, and after rifle hunting all my life. I was excited to give this new challenge a try. Spending my whole life in the woods chasing everything that lives, bears, mountain lions, elk, blacktails. I decided since I could easily locate a black bear in the Rogue unit south of Crater Lake National Park, I would set out to see what I could turn up. First archery animal being a black bear sounded like an achievable task. I packed my things and headed out. I arrived at camp at the beginning of Ginkgo Basin. Ginkgo? G-I-N-K-O Basin Road. To take a right off the highway about a mile up. On the right is where I set up. And up until recently, I always was solo. I hunted solo. I prefer it that way, actually. There is certain energy to multiple humans in the woods together. I feel the combination of different emotions and intent can be felt by the quarry. Maybe. I was told by a Klamath native that bears can feel your intent. And when he was a boy, his relatives would not speak directly of killing a bear. They would instead have an understanding that the goal was to go up and have a walk. All parties knowing that their intent was to harvest a bear, but it was left unspoken in the group as an understanding. It was a neutral mental posture from what I deduced. Very cool, actually. It's like a neutral body posture when approaching deer or elk. And I know you know about the importance of body language when stalking, where you don't square up and face the animal and lock your eyes on it, but just notice it and continue on. Maybe toss a couple nonchalant beard scratches in there, you know what I mean? Remain casual so you can approach slowly with posturing. Anyway, I arrived at camp, tossed my table out and dinner fixings, a bow target, a single camp chair, and a cooler, made some food and shot my bow. Pretty simple. Poured over a couple of maps and locked in an easy gradual slope loaded with huckleberries for the morning hunt. I got on my air mattress in the back of my pickup, zipped up my sleeping bag. I was in the in-between sleep and awake part of my rest when from the creek I was about 75 yards from went silent, and that woke me right up. I'm not sure where the sound was going. It was like I found myself in a void. It took all the sound away aside from my heartbeat and ringing ears. Feeling the hot blood in my chest, a shot of adrenaline hit my chest like a defibrillator. Thump, thump, thump goes my heart. I was tuned in. Hands were numb and tingling, like right before you're about to fight. I didn't know why at all. I just knew something was about to happen, and I braced for whatever it was. I had a 45 to my left. You don't sleep outside without protection. I don't care where you are. Agreed. And as I was listening to the ringing in my ears and my heart beating hard and slow, I felt a tension building, and then I heard what sounded like a pile of elk running straight up at me and my truck. From what I can guess, was maybe 75 yards away. This thing sounded like when you blow an elk herd out of thick crossfall timber. It crashed and grunted and yelled its way just out of the light from my campfire and stopped. It covered that distance in maybe 5 seconds, getting louder and louder the closer it got, and then nothing. Aside from my heart and ears ringing and the smell of iron in my nose and the void of sound like the space this thing and I were sharing was a glass bubble. Just it and me. Back to having to take a quick glance around. If you guys remember, was it last year before I had that black bear full on blatantly stalking me and I videotaped him? You gotta look, because you can't hear him. I was laying there thinking to myself, sir, you do not have enough gun for this. Also realizing that I couldn't move and the tingling had made its way to my legs and up my arms, I also thought it may have been projected to me by this thing. What do you possibly think you can do here? This thing then began breathing, sounding like it was filling a 16-gallon drum full of air, 5 seconds inhale and longer exhale. Gurgled, mind you, in and out. I thought then, this is not a damned elk. The second the thought of, what the hell is this thing, hit my brain. From about 20 yards away, it started the most gnarly, guttural, grinding low growl that vibrated my entire body, that toned all the way up to the pitch of a local bugle from a bull elk ear-ringing pitch, all the way back down to the vibrating guttural growl, ending in, you don't have the voice for this, gruah, gruah, gruah. It started the yell in total lasted a little less than 10 seconds. I realized the smell of iron. It was my nose bleeding down my shirt into my bag. What? The air smelled ionized, if that's the right word. If you've ever been around an electrical plant, it smelled like burnt ozone, like some ridiculously high energy was being released. No idea what that means, so fill me in if you have an idea. The thing started pacing back and forth in a 40-yard half moon around my camp, throwing an absolute fit. Snapping trees, ripping logs, all the above. As it paced, I was able to track where it was and gain some composure enough to unzip my bag as I listened to its every move. I was torn on whether or not to use my truck's key fob to turn my alarm on to hopefully frighten it or something. And this has been going on for 15 minutes at this point. When in my head, I thought, just go the hell away, I've had enough of this shit. I was starting to get pissed. I started to grip my pistol. As soon as that thought cleared my brain, it turned directly away from my camp and broke sticks and logs on its way out, huffing and puffing the whole time. Wow. Reflecting on this, the feeling of something happening, it did. My thought, what is this thing? And it showed me. An order from my thoughts, go away, and it did. I'm not sure what the deal was, if my thoughts and feelings were projected to it or not, but it seemed to yield results when I had a strong enough thought or feeling it responded in kind. This is my story. These are my words, and I am not afraid. It would be a fitting death. Sidebar, feel free to share or not. My buddy Steven and I are holding our annual youth shedhorn hunt here in Southern Oregon, March 2026. It's a free event for youth to get them off the couch and toss their phones away. We're looking for antler donations this year. Our goal is 2,000 antlers. We plan of having over 500 kids in the event. Holy shit, that's frickin' awesome. We have a raffle and prize antlers that kids pick up with a prize number they can redeem at the booth. Last event we had BB guns, fishing poles, youth bows, all donated for the kids. It was awesome. Look up Southern Oregon Shed Hunt on YouTube. There's a couple videos of the kids in action. If anyone is in the game of donating to this event for the kids, find me on Facebook. My name is Brandon Carnes. Carnes. Thank you for taking the time. That's frickin' awesome, Brandon. Way to go, man. You're a superhuman. And everyone else, involved in creating that activity for the kids. That's huge. I wish I was there. I wish I was there. I'd do everything I could to help that go down. What a great thing. And what a terrifying encounter. Welcome to the club, my man. Welcome to the club. Wow. Nothing but patterns in that one, right, you guys? Nothing but patterns. Nothing but patterns. And you can't deny them. And our thoughts have a lot to do with it. You know, I've said out loud, after the light thing, I even said it today, this morning in the dark, I just said, I'll tell you right now, I asked God to protect us, protect Sarah, and I asked also if there's anyone else around us to please not scare Sarah and ruin the outdoors for her. That's what I said a few times today, just for the curious. Seems to be working for the most part. The tree coming down wasn't overly scary, but it was wild to see her reaction looking past me. Whoa! Just like that. Anyway. One more, you guys, one more. Is Canada gonna become, I'll read everything exactly how it's typed up. Is Canada gonna become part of America? Hey Steve, like the subject says, I've been seeing some YouTube videos alluding to this. Excuse me, can you shed any light on this? I don't know anyone up that way, so you're my go-to guy to get facts out of Canada. And personally, I feel that would be great. Good for us and good for you guys, but I don't see how it could be true. But hey, what do I know? Thanks, my brother. Keep up the good work, Rick. All right, Rick. I'll answer that the best I can, man. What I know and what many others know, but not too many people seem to bring light to very often, I don't know why, is Canada is basically the United Kingdom's bitch. It's in your face. You can't deny it. I mean, any Canadian that doesn't think so is very, very misinformed, uninformed, just doesn't have a clue. The Queen's image is on our money. And now the so-called king, whatever his name is, Charles, his image is on our money. What more do you need? So on that note, Canada is not really a country. The current stooge, lizard, they have in position of being a so-called prime minister, he has 3 or 4 passports, and he is the past Bank of England? The advisor employed by Britain to be their financial advisor. He is the godfather to the 2 children of the woman who seized all the Canadians' bank accounts when they were voicing protest on the Canadian regime, what they were doing to him during COVID. He was Trudeau's chief advisor, and he answers to the crown. He answers to the crown, just like the majority of the other Commonwealth regimes answer to the UK, right? But anyways, apparently we do have a very kick-ass, stubborn, outspoken leader for the province of Alberta, and they are trying to, and alluding to, separating from Canada. We'll see what happens there. Do I think they will become an American state? I don't think so. I don't know what's exactly how it's going to go down, but they are basically telling the main Canadian regime to stuff it up their ass when it comes to gun control, confiscation, all sorts of shit. She's a real good kick-ass leader. I don't know exactly what's going to come with this. Am I hoping it goes down the pipe? Absolutely. Do I think it will? Well, as soon as things start to get a little too out of hand and in the control of the people, I'm sure the United Kingdom will come in here and send over UN troops like they did. They sent over UN troops here to beat the living shit out of peaceful protest in Ottawa. I know a lot of Canadian military and police officers quit during those times. I'm kind of rambling here. I'm tired. I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning and we hiked. I don't know where we hiked. But anyway, no, I don't believe we will. I do not believe Canada or any provinces will become American turf. However, I know they support the U.S., the current U.S. Government. So no, bit of a rambling, bambling answer, isn't it? But I'm tired. I'm really tired. No, I do not believe any part of Canada will become United States turf. But somehow, whatever's coming is coming. I believe this country's falling apart. Without a doubt, most Western countries are. Will it be for the better in the end? Absolutely. Absolutely. No matter what comes, it's going to be better. Right? As long as people keep fighting back. On a side note, did you guys see what happened to Nepal? I saw a couple of videos and that was getting caught up yesterday on global events. Same deal. They had, what was it, the Minister of Information. They had the so-called Minister of Information who also took part in taking away all social media from that country. Apparently the government of Nepal has been very, very corrupt for quite some time, and the people had finally had enough. They yarded them out into the streets and beat them, and I believe they might have even killed the wife of the past PM. And I saw a video, they had there's a lady, they had her. She was the Minister of Information, and they had her outside the building, and they weren't treating her too. I believe I've seen her getting punched and hit in the head and dragged down the street, so. Shit's going down around the globe. When you see stuff like that, you almost want to tag Fosse in those posts, don't you? Or Gates? Or whoever. Okay, I'll stop talking politics, I guess. I'm not really talking politics. I'm talking about the people getting fed up and the way they're being treated around the globe. And shit's going down everywhere. Shit's going sideways. People are angry. I believe the divide has been implemented intentionally to keep everybody divided, everyone angry at each other, everyone attacking each other in the streets. I believe that's all intentional. Because the sooner everyone unites, if everyone unites, look out bad side, right? Look out control, corruption. Look out the bad guys. Here come the good guys. But anyways, on that note, Charlie Kirk was one of the, was a very, very serious good guy team member. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, and prayers to his wife and his family and all those close to him. I'm really rambling all over the map, aren't I? I better go. Maybe a couple days from now I'll make more sense. But keep your voices coming out loud, all right, you guys? If you want your voice to be heard through me and this route here, I'm your guy, and this whole family of people here is your family. So, if you want your truth shared word for word, this is a good place to do it. At sharemystory@howtohunt.com. Now, I'm going back out. I've got a big elk wallow deep in the forest I want to go check out this afternoon. And carry on with the mission. Get that healthy food, your supply of meat in the freezer. Not leaving until it's done. Share my story at howtohunt.com, and I will be back as soon as I can. Probably, I'm guessing I think I'm going to try to do this every couple days anyway. Ugh. And I'll be back later. Don't ever be afraid of speaking out loud and speaking your truth, all right? And stand up for the people that can, no matter what. Later.